The phrase enemies have the same weaknesses tends to perfectly describe the sakamaki and Mukami brothers. Because even the highest vampire family have their fears and problems. What about the Mukamis? We have to remember that years ago, they were humans that had beating hearts, shredded childhoods, and battle scars. As far as we know, they're just for handsome men who made a pact with the vampire king, all following Rukie's orders and nothing more. But is that what we see? Shouldn't there be a little more to them than just the sadistic or masochistic side they embrace? Well, of course, that's what makes them and shapes their psyches, and that thing is fear. Rukie, he is the eldest Mukami brother, the biggest sadist that called the heroine livestock even though he was marked like he was the true livestock. He was from a rather high-class family. In his eyes, he had a loving mother, an intelligent father and servants that were pleased to do everything that was ordered. Yet one day, his mother left him and his father for a richer husband, leaving nothing more than a note that said she would always love him. His father suicided after discovering his bankruptcy. Then the people that worked for them stole everything in sight, whilst the majority beat him like that were tendering meat. That is when he realized the reality of his situation. Now he reads multiple books, including his father's diary, which is practically inseparable from his clutches. Books are something so dear to him, just like his brothers. But why is that? Isn't it a simple hobby, or something far deeper than a stereotype trait? Rukie studies literature for knowledge. Therefore, he's educating himself. In his father's diary, that's his lifetime study, he's searching for the mistake his father made, so he won't repeat history, and at the same time, he is remembering the reason why he now depends and worships Karl Heinz and the 3 siblings he has today. This being said, his emotional fear is ignorance and obliviation. He was that little naive boy that wanted to see the light. From what we can remember, he was the boy locked away from the world. He was poor and usually spent any change he got on things that tempted him. But nothing was as good as the blue sky. One day, he finally got to see the welcoming blue sky, while at the same time corruption took him. After being abused in the most gruesome and sadistic ways, he was forced to realize that the world he walked into was a cruel world of give and take. He literally stabbed his eye out in hope of being thrown away and returning to his poor and free life. But we all know that isn't what happened. The way he was treated carved his mentality into becoming one of those that hurt him in an odd way. He tends to receive his sadistic rewards. Is he sadist by choice, or did he just become one so he would no longer be the one feeling the whip, instead he would be the one holding it? He secretly fears sleeping alone, because he's afraid that the darkness won't let him wake up. His fear is none other than imprisonment. Yuma, he is the titan, the short-tempered gardener with a strong sweet tooth. He remembers nothing from his past except small fragments of uncertain memories with Shu and a fire that ended his happiness. He goes by many names, but each one leaves a sad memory. Edgar was his birth name that his parents gave him, reminding him of the family he once had before a fire. The one caused by Reiji took it all away from him. Bear was the name the gang gave him. The gang became his new family, and together, they committed crimes to feed one another in the cold world they lived in. But firearms took that away from him. From then on he became Yuma, a growing boy that had a strong hate for aristocrats, except Rukie, with a passion for sugar and vegetable gardening. He seems to be at peace most of the time, but anything high-pitched triggers him. But why is that? Could it be that those types of noises remind him of the moments he lost the ones closest to him from the past? His gardening hobby, is that a habit he can't break from once being a villager? Or is he really reassuring that there will always be food in the Mukami manor? Yuma Mukami is the name he was given along with the new eternal life. He waits for that final form of fire to come and take away his name, family, and life. He tries to prepare himself, but he secretly fears that it might be sooner than he can expect. His fear is loneliness and adaptation. Ausa, he is the youngest out of all 15 vampires. He is the little alley baby that was abandoned to live in the streets. He was a little boy that was abused constantly by other kids and picked on. After a while, he realized that his purpose in the world was to bring you to others with his pain. This was the beginning of his masochism. Ausa didn't want to leave the orphanage because the kids were always hitting him. Rukie convinced him with a good smack in the face. Now he survived that part of his life, but now he lives without someone to harm him. He lives without someone to give him purpose. Just like Subaru, he self-harms himself to please his unsteady mind. He gives his cuts names. The deepest ones were given the name of the 3 people that helped him open his eyes to see his purpose. The pain reminds him that he's still alive and that he can still feel the pain. But is he a sadist along with the others? Well, not exactly. He harms those he thinks like the pain, but he secretly would prefer to harm himself than anyone else. His true fear is uselessness and death.